I can't even pronounce this. Kumari Kandam, the advanced civilization that vanished. Now this is interesting.
They say there was
Shout out to
once a
Motec.
land stretching across the ocean,
Subscribe, show
a
love.
place lost to time called Kumari Kandam,
Wow.
an ancient kingdom that might have been home to one of humanity's oldest civilizations. Then, one day, it vanished, swallowed by the ocean in a disaster that no one saw coming. For centuries,
How?
Tamil stories spoke of this vanished continent, a world that thrived with art, science, and culture before disaster struck. But was it a myth? Some call it fantasy. Others think there's a truth buried in these legends, pointing to a forgotten chapter of human history. And if that's true, what happened to it all these years? Could pieces of this vanished world still lie beneath the water, waiting to be found? Or was it all just a story to explain something we can't remember?
We know more about... No, what is it? It's the other way around. Yeah, we know more about space than we know about the ocean, so completely unexplored. I believe there are underwater cities. There's a way more that's going on in the ocean than you ever think. All of our Wi-Fi
There's a
cables run
story
in the
about
ocean.
a lost civilization, one that's been retold for thousands of years.
Smash
It's
the like button.
popularly called Kumari Kandam, a mythical land said to have been the heart of an ancient Tamil civilization, filled with culture, language, and artistry. According to Tamil folklore, this land once stretched south of India and was home to advanced societies. But, like the tale of Atlantis, Kumari Kandam supposedly met a tragic fate when a massive flood wiped it off the map, leaving barely a trace behind. What's fascinating is that this isn't just a story pulled out of thin air. Back in the 19th century, European and American scholars came up with the idea of a lost land called Lemura to explain similarities in geology between Africa, Madagascar, Australia, and India. But Tamil revivalists took that idea a step further. Drawing on ancient Tamil and Sanskrit texts, they connected Lemura to their own stories of a lost land, one ruled by the Pandyan dynasty, where their ancestors lived before the ocean swallowed it whole. In the early 20th century, the idea of Kumari Kandam evolved further. Tamil writers took the name from the 15th century Tamil epic Kanda Piranam and swapped out Lemura for something that felt closer to home. In doing so, Kumari Kandam became a symbol of Tamil pride, a lost continent that gave birth to the Tamil language and tradition. Tamil revivalists claimed that this land was home to the very first Tamil literary gatherings, or sangams, led by Pandyan kings. Some folks even say that the Pandyan rulers used to have control over all of India, and that Tamil culture was around way before some of the oldest civilizations we know today. Even though modern science shut down the idea of Lemuria with the theory of plate tectonics, basically explaining that continents drifted apart over millions of years, the legend of Kumari Kandam is still very much alive in Tamil culture. Many Tamils view it not merely as a myth, but as a symbol of a lost history, similar to how Atlantis is regarded in Western culture. But that's not where the story ends. According to Tamil legends, when Kumari Kandam sank beneath the ocean, its survivors didn't just vanish. They spread out across the world, influencing other human civilizations. There's also another layer of the Kumari Kandam legend, the link to Adam's Bridge, also known as Rama's Bridge or Rama Setu. This chain of limestone shoals stretches about 18 miles across the Palk Strait, connecting India and Sri Lanka. And it's a spot that's fascinated both historians and scientists. At first glance, it looks like a natural formation, just a quirk of geology. But then, satellite images from NASA showed something that made people stop and think. It almost looked like a submerged bridge. Now, according to ancient Hindu texts like the Ramayana, this isn't just some random rock formation. The legend says it's the very path that Lord Rama and his army of Vanaras, or monkey warriors, built to reach Lanka. The story
Monkey
goes that
horse.
Rama, with the help of his local allies, constructed this bridge to cross the sea and rescue Sita from the demon king Ravana. It's an incredible
That's a
feat,
demon herself,
a
right?
bridge spanning the ocean, supposedly built in record time by a mix of divine and human effort. But what's fascinating is how this legendary bridge ties into the story of Kumari Kandam. Tamil cultural revivalists believe that Adam's Bridge might be a remnant of an ancient Tamil civilization, a civilization that once spanned vast lands and seas. The theory goes like this: if there's some truth to the story of Rama's bridge, then maybe Kumari Kandam was part of this larger landmass that connected regions beyond the bridge itself. Even today, Adam's Bridge is a hot topic, full of debates between scientists and historians. Some argue it's a natural formation, shaped by ocean currents and sediment, while others suggest it could be one of the oldest man-made structures, a marvel of ancient engineering. But for many Tamil people, this bridge isn't just a geological puzzle. It's a relic, a thread connecting them to the mysterious waters of their heritage, and the possibility that Kumari Kandam was very real. And they even have proof of it. Let's take a blast into the past for a second. Across ancient Tamil and Sanskrit literature, there are whispers of a South Indian land swallowed by the sea, a place linked to lost cities and cultural origins. One of the earliest mentions comes from Nakirar's commentary on Erayanar Akaporal, a work dating back to the late 1st millennium CE. Nakirar talks about katakol, or ocean seizure, which sounds a lot like a tsunami that devoured Pandian territories. But this wasn't just any land. It was where the Pandian kings hosted the first sangams, or literary
Wait, this is too interesting. That's why I'm not really saying much, so I'll try to save my take for the back end.
gatherings
okay?
that became the bedrock
end the
of
video.
Tamil culture. So whether you see it as history, mythology, or somewhere in between, the story of Kumari Kandam and Adam's Bridge may very well be connected.
Kumari Kandam.
According to Nakarar, the first Sangam lasted an unbelievable 4,400 years in the fabled city of Ten Madurai, or South Madurai. But then, nature happened. The ocean rose and swallowed Ten Madurai whole, along with countless works of art and knowledge. Undeterred, a second Sangam was born in a new city, Kapatapuram, where 59 poets kept Tamil culture alive for another 3,700 years. But once again, the ocean claimed it. Finally, the third Sangam found its home in Uttara Madurai, or North Madurai, and held out for another 1,850 years. Now, fast forward to the 19th century, European scientists started theorizing about a lost continent called Lemura to explain similarities
Bro.
in plant and animal life across India, Madagascar, and Africa. And this theory got its name thanks to Philip Sclater, an English zoologist who proposed that a massive landmass once connected these regions before sinking into the ocean millions of years ago. In 1873, this idea even made its way into Indian geography textbooks, sparking a fascination among Tamil scholars. 12 years later, Charles D. MacLean was connecting Lemura directly to Tamil history, proposing it as the birthplace of Dravidian culture. With support from thinkers like Ernst Haeckel, who believed Asia might have been the origin of humanity, Lemura began to transform in Tamil intellectual circles. Soon, this submerged continent was reimagined as Kumari Kandam, a Tamil homeland that existed before time. In Tamil Nadu, the idea quickly gained momentum. By 1908, Kumari Kandam was introduced in college curricula, with Madras University featuring texts by Suryanarayana Sastry that highlighted this connection. Then came Paralingam Pillai, Kandish Pillai, and others, each weaving the Kumari Kandam story deeper into Tamil identity. By 1971, Tamil Nadu's government even formed a committee to document Tamil history, marking an official embrace of Kumari Kandam. A decade later, textbooks still included it, portraying this lost land as a powerful symbol of Tamil heritage. Some have even called Kumari Kandam the Atlantis of India. While we're all familiar with the legend of Atlantis from Greek mythology and the movies, Kumari Kandam tells a similar story, one of an advanced civilization that flourished and then suddenly disappeared. Is there some truth to this? Well, that's what you're about to find out. The story of Kumari Kandam doesn't just end with Nakirar. The ancient Tamil epic Silapathakaram by poet Elango Vadigal continues where Nakirar left off. He describes a mighty land once ruled by 7 main kings and 49 vassal kings, and it had 2 major rivers, Pairuli and Kumari, that flowed through it, nourishing the region south of what we now know as Kanyakumari, or the southern tip. Some geological studies suggest that sea levels were much lower around 14,500 years ago, by up to 150 meters. Even about 10,000 years ago, sea levels were still around 100 meters lower than they are now. This means that areas we now consider underwater might have once been above sea level, and there could have been land bridges connecting India to places like Sri Lanka, and possibly even to Africa. Over time, as the Earth warmed and the ice melted, sea levels rose, and it's possible that floods or tsunamis could have submerged entire regions, including Kumari Kandam. To make things even more interesting, Conal MacNeil-Kale, a geologist from Oxford University, suggests that the Indian Ocean might still be hiding what's called microcontinents, small submerged pieces of land. So, while we can't say for certain that Kumari Kandam was real, the geological evidence suggests that there could be some truth to the idea.
So why don't I just get scuba divers, dive in and check if this is real or not? Things like this doesn't really make sense to me sometimes. It's like, if we have, this is how you know the world is weird. We've got technology to take a picture of a moon that's orbiting a unknown planet that is billions of miles away from us, but we can't dive into the ocean and check. The heck?
The idea that ancient lands once existed in the area, now lost to the sea. Marine archaeology also offers some intriguing clues. In the 1980s, the submerged ruins of Pumbagar, an ancient Chowla port city, were discovered off the coast of Tamil Nadu, hinting at a real history beneath the waves. Then, in 2002, underwater explorations near Mamallapuram revealed structures resembling dockyards, thought to date back to the last ice age, around 11,000 years ago. While these findings could suggest evidence of an ancient Tamil-speaking land now lost under the ocean, some Tamil scholars argue these discoveries were overshadowed or neglected, perhaps due to a national focus on Sanskrit heritage over Tamil history. Seeking further answers, Tamil scholars and enthusiasts have called for public interest litigations in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry's high courts to advocate for continued research. They see these petitions as a path forward toward reopening marine archaeology efforts, which were abruptly halted without a clear reason. Just as sites like Adi Chanalur and Kishadi have been explored, many believe that Kumari Kandam deserves the same attention, to finally unearth the truth of its existence. Then we have the purists, the people who completely believe Kumari Kandam wasn't just an ancient land, it was an isolated utopia, a society free from the influence of outside forces. They assert that, unlike modern Tamil society affected by Indo-Aryan influences like the caste...
Let's rewind. That looks like a face.
Like modern Tamil society affected by Indo...
That looks like a face. There's the nose. Well, there we go. There's the nose. There's the eyes. That's the forehead right there. That's the chin, lips, and obviously, yeah.
Indo-Aryan influences like the caste system and certain superstitions, Kumari Kandam is often imagined as a pure, untainted Tamil world. Some theorists say that this land was free of the upper caste Brahmin influences tied to Indo-Aryan heritage. This separation from the rest of the world, they believe, explains why Kumari Kandam lacked the divisions seen in later Tamil society. Former chief editor of the Tamil Etymological Dictionary Project suggested that Kumari Kandam may have existed around 50,000 BCE and submerged around 16,000 BCE using dating methods taught by his mentor Devanaya Pavanar. Although dates like these are hard to substantiate, they reinforce the idea that Kumari Kandam was an ancient and uniquely Tamil civilization, existing in isolation from the rest of the world for thousands of years. Tamil revivalists argue that the lack of scientific or historical evidence might be due to its isolation. However, some Tamil texts from the later Sangam periods show Sanskrit terms, suggesting outside influence. This has led some scholars to argue that the purity of Tamil culture was diluted over time. Then we have the connection to South India. Another faction of believers say that Kumari Kandam isn't just a tale of a submerged land, but also holds a deep connection to modern-day South India. They claim a direct connection to Kanyakumari, a coastal city at the very tip of Tamil Nadu. These believers also argue that Kanyakumari and even all of Tamil Nadu were once part of this ancient landmass. Some even push further, suggesting that the whole southern Indian peninsula, or even all of India, was connected to Kumari Kandam, making the Tamil people indigenous to this vast land. During the British era, Kanyakumari was part of the state of Travancore, which later merged into Kerala. But Tamil leaders argued fiercely that Kanyakumari should belong to Tamil Nadu, and Kumari Kandam played a central role in this campaign, and they might be onto something here. You see, the legend of Kumari Kandam is one of those fascinating stories that blends history, mythology, and a strong sense of cultural pride. But it all really started picking up steam back in 1903 when Suyanarayan Sastry wrote about it in Tamil Moliyan Varalaru. He suggested that the ancient Tamils of Kumari Kandam
Just skip this real quick.
were the ancestors.
Let's see what the comment section is saying as well, to be honest with you. Wait. Okay, just a correction. I'll suggest to name things per part. Culture, literally. Okay, cool. Just, yeah. I believe it's called Kumari Kandam, relating to the land of Shiva, first man. Kumari is the boy who taught agriculture. He was the young boy who took his people to safety. Sri Lanka and South India, he taught material arts. Okay, given by... Okay, so quite a few people know about this. Kumari Kandam. The whole video, that's all I heard. Kumari Kandam. Kumari Kandam. So I'm gonna fall asleep and have a dream about Kumari Kandam or something like that. Crazy. I rebuke that in Jesus' name. It's not called Adam's Bridge. Missionaries gave it a name. It's called Ram Setu. Ram Setu. Ram Setu. Setu Ram. I think exploring legends like Kumari Kandam is very important to help us understand more about the history and the culture of lost civilization. I hear it, and I believe there's more than what these people are telling us about. And by these people, I mean the people who run the world. I'll let you figure that out. Atlantis, Lemuria were the two world powers of 500 years ago, but their civilization was almost 1 million years old. The technology was beyond any that we currently have right now, including creating hybrid people and animals and utilizing stuff that now we're getting into the deep part of YouTube, you see, because there's some conspiracy theories out there that we might be mixing a bunch of DNAs underground and stuff like that, but I don't know. This is just speculation, and none of this is true. This is all for entertainment purpose only, so let's relax before the YouTube algorithm goes crazy. They had similar harp like the device. Okay. Yeah, this is probably the deepest comments there is right now, to be honest with you. I would suggest you look into this, and yeah, you might start finding some scary stuff, some scary truths to this world. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll let you finish the entire video on the channel Motech, because it's a sick channel. It provides us with a bunch of great content, so I'll let you go out and check that out. But this was very interesting, to say the least. Never heard of Kumari Kandam. Final time I'm saying in this video. And Lost Civilization. I've heard of Atlantis. But the similarities are crazy. But now it's making me think of the Anunnaki. What movie is this? Sorry, the blue people. I don't know. If you get what I'm trying to relate there, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know which video to check out next. Like the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next.